All right, so Yamini, Ritu, Avi, Amar, Praveen, Namita, Hemant, Dhingra, Urvashi, and Delhi chapter. Let me know, Alok, when shall we start? Because you know, how many of us are there? We are 13 of us right now. Do we need to
Please
wait?
start a session. Start a
Okay,
session. Right.
we'll start the session. Okay. So okay. I have mailed the case study also, just for your reference. Okay, so the other students who are just messaging your email ID, we are starting the session, and what we'll do is, in some time, I will resend the case to all of you. Okay, so you can text me your email ID in the meantime. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session sixth of HR analytics. Uh, we have done a good amount of topics which been covered in the last 5 sessions. So a lot of you already know me. So it's like I belong to Prism, which is into trainings, consultancy, academy, and yoga and wellness session. I did talk about that we will be, if you want to do a detailed analysis and want to understand the learning of stats, then you can buy a lot of books. So one of the books which I mentioned was published by me. It's here. So quickly to revisit, in the last 5 sessions, from the HR perspective of analytics to the history, importance, and challenge, we understood the tools. We also understood the training and development metrics for LMS and LRS, how the top metrics are getting used by the corporates, and what are the various training effectiveness measures we highlighted on that. We also talked about the recruitment metrics, and I have already shared the various formulas through my blog, and I hope I must have gone through the same. And the last session, it focused on the workforce modeling, that importance of HR becoming a business partner, and what's the easy steps for the workforce analysis, right? With this, let's start with the case again. And uh, how many of you were not there in the last class? Could you, I mean, it's just that those who were not there, and those who were there, I think it is pretty good. You can actually click the case right now here. You can use your mobile phone. And this case is about 500 beds hospital, in a major East Coast metropolitan area, right? So I just want to know how many of you have. I was not there, Praveen. Okay. Praveen, then I would request just click this case. The case study is exactly this much only, which is visible on the screen. Okay. And please, once done, give me a heads up, that you have already clicked it. Yeah, done. Super. Rest, all of you, you already know the case. Still, if you want to click this case, please do the needful. We have the set of questions, which are 6 right now. Uh, do you believe that the program of HR metrics workforce analytics might be useful in the regional hospital? And so on. So I will not read the question again. You can please click it by yourself and After minute, I'm going to put you guys in a breakout room. I will give a little bit of time, which is like 10 minutes only for this particular case. Majorly, a lot of people have done this case. It's just that you can refresh your last week's session and think through the answers, and then we were going to discuss about it. All right. So if you have clicked the questions, I am going to put you guys in a breakout rooms. Okay, so right now we are just 13 of us. So I'll just put you all in 2 breakouts room. Okay, and request to join. It's 6:13 by my watch, which means 6:23 I'll close the breakout room. Please join the rooms. Yum here. Good.
Hello, ma'am. I lost the connection. Can you send me to the respective group?
Yeah, just a second. You just mention me which group were you in?
I was with the Ritu, Hemen. Sorry, that I was with Ritu Walia.
Okay, I'll just do that. Done, my dear.
out because I took that call and assuming that it is from somebody from this Zoom.
Aha. Okay.
So this government of India is given, central government has given the COVID vaccine to the states, but they are monitoring everything. Because
Hmm.
I registered and then I got this call.
Okay. Interesting.
I was pleasantly surprised, and they treated me well.
Very well. Very nice. Very, very nice.
I am Mumbai, and I went to a government hospital only, but
Okay.
very neat, clean, and well managed. Better than private hospitals.
Ah, I can
I
imagine.
took photographs, etc.
Lovely.
And they are giving the time in such a way that in 45 minutes everything was done.
Ah.
Out of that, 30 minutes is waiting after the vaccination. So they are taking people in batches. So 30 people they put outside. When 30 are there, then they go for inside, then the vaccination, then 30 in the waiting, then 30 like that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
What I heard, I was scared. I was not going to Maharashtra hospitals because I am from Delhi and so much in newspaper about COVID. But
Mm-hmm.
finally, because every time I travel, I have to spend 1,000 rupees extra for that COVID test, and
Mm-hmm.
it take 4 5 days. Queue is big, so I thought finally let me go. But experience is really very good.
Fantastic. No, I can imagine. I can really imagine. Okay, so everyone is here. Great. So let's start. We'll start with the group one. Arvind, Bhumi, Pushpa, Kinush, Namita, Praveen, Ritu, and Urvashi. Let's understand from you. I'm going to share my screen with a set of questions which is already there so that it's easier for all of us to know, right? Okay, so I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, all to you. So, group one.
I think, Anubhav, we didn't go as per these questions exactly, but what we were talking about during our discussion is in terms of what can be done to reduce the cost or what type of metrics we can use here. So we as a group were discussing that in the hospital, first thing we need to identify is how many patients we have been coming into the hospital at what time. So once we know that count, and, during OPD hours, maybe we see more footfall, and during evening hours when there is no OPD, maybe we see lesser patients. So accordingly, we can decide, timing and employees, those are really needed for or to take care of the patients or to handle the entire operation. So that is really needed to analyze this data or these patient numbers, because without knowing the numbers there is nothing that we can do. Otherwise, how would you assign or align the staff, or who is needed at what time and who is needed for what? So that patient count, those numbers are really needed.
Hmm.
Second, uh, we talked about skill matrix or skill analysis, or maybe you can say not training, actually skill analysis. So for example, uh, you know that you have the staff, or maybe you don't have the staff, but what skills they have, how you're going to utilize those skills. So according to the services that you're offering, according to the patients that those are coming to the hospital, you need to see whether you have the right skill set within your employees or not. And
Hmm.
accordingly, maybe you can offer trainings, or you can hire more staff, or maybe you can do the alignment part.
Hmm.
So that skill assessment is really needed, be it hospital or be it any organization. And then
Hmm.
you can do the alignment of your staff. Okay. So those were the two things. Third, I'm missing. Guys, what did we discuss? I forgot. uh, Rakesh, Hemant, anything to add?
Now to begin with, like we have to understand, like there will be huge data. What all? I mean, there will be a pool of data, but not everything is required.
Hmm.
So we have to filter it out. What we need, and what is the need of the hour? What the need of the hour is to decrease the cost and improve the efficiency. So we have to devise the metrics in a manner, or can collect the data in a manner which solves our purposes. which one is to decrease the cost and to improve the efficiency. And going further down the line, like what Sir Arvind has already mentioned, like we have to devise the data points wherein we, sorry ma'am, there was
No problem. I could help.
so so there was there could be they have to define the points wherein we have to collect the data to find out the problematic points, like the competency part, the skill set part, the footfall, the time of the footfall, how much time they are spending, which are the new requirements, what are the departments which are overstaffed or understaffed. So those things we have to understand and then devise the metrics so that we get to the
That's okay.
It's okay, Hemant. So everybody is working from home.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah.
sorry for it, ma'am. So
No, no,
those
no
things we
worries.
have to consider it and then devise the metrics for it. But yes, I mean it will be really helpful for regional hospital to have the metrics.
And also one more thing to add, for operational effectiveness, it's not only the staff, we also need to see the overall process. So as Rakesh mentioned, earlier, that in Mumbai hospital, so he noticed that there were proper sitting areas. So somebody was in the waiting list, somebody was there in the, reception, or somebody was taking the vaccination. So these things are kind of really helpful. So let's say we need to identify the areas, what all we can digitize, what all, we can break into multiple parts. So let's say currently we witness a heavy rush at the reception. So maybe we can, digitize certain things so that we do not see the same number of people at the reception, and maybe we can reduce that count of patients there, and maybe certain other things we can identify. So that digitization, or maybe breaking that entire patient count into multiple groups, so that they can go to the relevant counter, rather than we see the entire rush at the same place at the same time. So certain areas would really be helpful by looking into all these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, just to add on to this, just one more point, which is regarding so in the case there was a serious concern about managers struggling to make effective staffing decisions.
Huh.
So this is one area where they can help. They can also study the attendance data, or the manpower that has been allocated to them. They can study the attendance, or the count of people that they have, and accordingly see whether it matches their requirement, or they are either short, or they have excess manpower.
Okay. Okay. That's
Ma'am,
amazing.
just to add, what Urvashi ma'am also discussed in the meeting, I mean, in the joint room, was, based on that, we can also decide where is to have a permanent staff or a contractual basis staff. So that all things can be taken care of with the help of analytics. Workforce analytics plays a huge role. So the first question definitely says a yes.
Yeah, I mean, so there are definitely, there is definitely a time when we see, more and more patients. So not everything is related to, operating a patient or giving medicine. So there are many areas where we can hire contractors. So the way we hire contractors in the call center environment. So during certain months in a year, we hire contractors. So similarly, during certain times in the hospital, maybe we can look up to contractors just to take care of the ongoing work. So in terms of managing, in terms of moving files, in terms of processing data, for those things, when we see heavy rush in specific months, in specific time, we can look for contractors rather than keeping permanent staff.
I would disagree to the idea, ma'am.
Like in general shift, ma'am, we require more people to manage because lots of visitors are coming. So we can hire some contract labor for general shift, considering and what are the skill set required for them. For night shift, we need more critical staff to take care of, and they should be alert. So we need to pay higher than the general shifts. So these things we.
So it totally depends on the skills. I'm not saying that you can hire a doctor on contract basis. I mean, even it happens in many hospitals where they arrange a doctor over the call. So that's another area definitely that we can consider. But I was talking more about the general stuff. in terms of processing data or managing the rush, and maybe, one person extra at the counter when it comes to getting the registration done. So such areas we can consider, I believe.
Ma'am, the question also talked about the aging of the current staff. So once we have the data points, once we know which of the employees is going to retire, so we can plan the succession planning well in advance to reduce the operational cost, as well as to have a seamless or a smooth transition phase. So data points are all very important, ma'am, in understanding the analysis and doing the analytics part finally.
Superb. So Yamini is also writing that number of patient is equal to number of attendant equal to how many shifts they can arrange. We can use the skill metrics, key staff, operation cycle, insurance, medical claim procedure, efficiency training using computer tech on the full scale. All right. So that's okay. So that's the the group 1 who has shared. Let's hear from the group 2 now, from their understanding, please. So in the group 2, we have Arvind, Hemant, Rakesh, Shivani, and Yamini. So Yamini, I read it, but just rephrase Yamini for us.
I think I was part of group 1 and I was talking on behalf of group 1, and I think Hemant also contributed. So that was Arvind and Hemant, and I think
we were all from the group 2. We thought like we were in the group 1, so we started working on it.
So maybe group 1 can go next.
All the while thinking like, what happened to my PC? I mean, I did not see these names in my group, and maybe because I joined late and something, so I don't know, kind of. I was wondering about it.
No,
I just want to add like wonderful points added by all. I actually saw in the case study that there were some operational inefficiencies. Additionally, the hospital was also looking for a lot of innovative approaches. I actually suggest and recommend that hospitals should take on more of automated interventions. We can actually minimize manual interventions wherever it could be possible, like managing the patients in the OPD, numbering them, allocating time for each attendant and each patient with a doctor. These can be easily automated. We actually have seen that more than 80% of the expenses of the hospital was in paying for the salaries of employees. So additionally, to increase the efficiency, it is very difficult whether even if we go for hiring contract labor is even more expensive than the regular labor, because overheads are not there, but additionally they'll charge more money for the time. So when we actually go for automated interventions, like registration can be automated, then patients can come to the hospital at the required time, and they'll have least amount of wait period there, and they'll actually go to the doctor. It is according to the analytics, it will be seen that one doctor takes like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 7 minutes per patient. Accordingly, time is allocated, and everything is scheduled. This will definitely not only bring out the finances down, but also increase the operational efficiency, leading to higher satisfaction of both the employees as well as the customers or the patients in the hospital.
Okay. Nice thought by the group member. Let's understand, the things, what exactly happened, so it's easier for us to understand. Okay. Any other thing anybody would like to share furthermore before I proceed? Okay. Now, what happened was this case was very much used and got very highlighted. What the organization did was they tried using couple of options, as we're talking about analytics. So the first option that they worked on was the queuing theory, the queue management. Now, in the Q theory, it is, you will find usually, it determines the capacity of services, which is a subject to the variable demand over time. Now, it has been, widely used in a number of service industry. It could be such as banking sector, public transportation, and so on. And it has had a limited use in the healthcare, but it has very well applied to optimize the scheduling, staffing in the primary care, operating rooms, nursing homes, radiology department, and emergency department. So this is one option. Second one was supply chain management. So what Yamini was mentioning was very strong enough. It has some element to do with that. It says, what is supply chain management? It is nothing but it's a technique, a set of technique which actually helps matches resources with the demand, which is highly complex production processes. So companies I know such as Dell, Toyota, uh, PNG, they represents complex system, and they use supply chain management tool by working on linear integration programming, optimizing the performance. The one of the finest example you must have seen in the airlines, the way they use this model to assign the crew members to to thousand of flights per day across hundred of cities. So the technique have actually I would say revolutionized production in many industries, and have a very little impact in the hospital environment despite substantial success. So they used on this also. The third concept they worked on is statistical process control. Now, SPC is a technique which involves the plotting of an outcome of a process over a period of time, whether variation falls within an acceptable range or it falls outside the range. Now, just to give you an example, in statistical process control, we make various charts, right? So we make X chart, R chart, S chart, and then we have probability chart, we call it P chart, we call it NP chart, that is non-probability chart, we have C chart, we have U chart. Okay, so it's very simple that if your sample size is less than 30, I use X chart. Now X chart means average chart. Okay, now sometimes it becomes very difficult to know whether the average is giving me the right figure or not. To give you an example, let's say, what is the difference between average chart and a R chart, that is a range chart. So let's try and understand here. Okay, let's say we all are standing near pond. Okay, and we really don't know what's the depth of the pond. So everyone says, okay, let's jump, let's have fun. But then we don't know. So out of the entire group of 17 people who are here, Pushpa says, I don't know swimming. Okay. So we say, don't worry, the depth is not that much. So Bhumi says, it's only 1 feet. Hemant says 2 feet, Kinush says 1 feet, Praveen said 3 feet, Pooja said 1 feet, Rakesh said 2 feet, Ritu said 1 feet, Shivani said 3 feet, Urvashi said 1 feet, but Yamini said 21 feet. Okay. Now, when we average this out, so most of the people said 1 feet, 2 feet, 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, except one, Yamini said 21 feet. When I will average it out, probably my answer would be 4 feet. Okay, 4 or 4.5. So any individual height is that much. That means if I talk about Pushpa, so we say if we say average is only 4.5, so Pushpa can very well manage. But let's say Pushpa jumped where it was 21 feet. That's the problem. That means we really have to work on range. What is range? Anyone can tell me the difference? What is the definition of range?
From minimum to maximum range.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Minimum to maximum.
Minimum to maximum. Thank you, Praveen. So when I say minimum to maximum, so maximum was 21, minimum was 1. So that means my range was 20 feet. So we can't discount in the statistical process control if my if my sample size is less than 30, I do average. But if my sample size is more than 30, I might as well use both X chart and R chart, that is an average chart and a range chart. I will not go into the formula right now because it's there in the books, right? But it's just that you should know how to apply it. If my sample size is more than 30, then I will use standard deviation chart. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Super, super. All right. So the same very way, this thing is good when my variables are measurable. Okay, there are other probable chances where my variables are not measurable, which I talked about in my second session. When my variables are not measurable, there I use U chart and C chart. Absolutely. So I mean, these fundamentals are already there in my book, but then, as a statistician, as an HR analytics, you should be knowing which chart to apply when to check the variation. So statistical process control actually focuses on how many variables are falling, apart, having a, I will say a falling within the acceptable range. Okay. So what was my range when I said 1 feet to 21 feet? Okay. So that was my minimum to maximum. So how many range we are falling in between? Is it very near to the mean side? That means we are really taking care of the corrective action. But if my variation is not controlled and my data point is going beyond the variation, that means there is no corrective action is happening and my entire process is going haywire. So from arrival in this organization, the hospital, admission to the discharge, emergency patient receive treatment at a multiple points of the care, multiple points of the care delivery process. So the patient flow defined as a movement of patient through the system, it becomes an important indicator of the timeliness, safety, and quality of the care received. So this is how SPC was used in the care system. So this is what I have shown in the screen. Even you will find that they have strongly used input, throughput, output process. Okay. Now let's not, I'm going to talk about this input, throughput process in some time. Let me stop sharing the screen. Let's do a very simple exercise here. Okay. Now, how many of you know how to make tea? How to make tea, chai? Okay.
I know.
Okay. All right. So now, first of all, tell me. So right now, I am looking for an output, and the output is I am looking for a tasty tea, which should be in 1 cup only, 1 cup tasty tea, and without masala. So no masala tea. It's a simple tea. Okay. Now, what should be the input? Please tell me. So output we know. Tell me the input. What all things we require to make a tasty tea?
Input, we need water, we need milk, tea, sugar, gas stove burner,
stove,
and lighter to start the gas.
Lighter, okay.
And basically utensils for to cook, to make tea, and cup, and sieve to
sieve,
yes.
Okay.
And myself.
Oh, yourself, yeah.
Of course.
Human. Yeah, person. Very good, very good.
Of course.
Very good. Any other thing you feel that it is missing, or I have added everything?
Those who prefer those who prefer sugar.
I couldn't hear it. Sorry, ma'am.
Sugar.
Okay. Sugar. How can I miss sugar? Okay, sugar. Any other thing?
No, I don't know. That's enough.
You, whatever you will tell. Huh?
Yeah. can be any fuel. It's not required to be a stove and a lighter. It can be anything. I mean,
anything. When I say stove, fuel, the gas, something is there, a burner.
A person to cook it.
Yeah.
So I will
Written. Already written.
Okay. Any other input? So whatever you will tell me as an input, I will take that only. If you have not given me any input, you can't use it in the process.
Tray.
Huh?
Added.
Tray, ma'am. Tray.
Acha, tray to serve. Okay.
You don't want to add any spices like cardamom.
Spoon.
Acha, spoon. Okay.
Spoon
Okay.
to stir.
Any other thing?
Ma'am, skill.
Acha, skill will chhod dijiye abhi. That don't need it.
Physical
We will create a skill later. ठीक है? And आप बताइए.
Tongs to pick up the utensil.
Acha, the holder, the utensil holder.
Yeah, utensil holder.
Tongs or pencils? Yes, tongs.
Utensil holder. Okay. Any other thing?
Manpower.
Manpower, we have taken the person. So you said
Light चाहिए मैम बनाने के लिए light.
Light
Lighter है.
चलो light में अंधेरे में नहीं बनाएंगे.
हाँ, yes. Light.
Yeah.
सही काम.
Pan.
Pan, very good. Somebody said pan. हाँ, सब बता दिया, pan नहीं बताया. चलो good. Pan. चलिए. Now who will make tea? Who is this one person who will make tea? And this person only will tell me the process. कौन आएगा पहले? चाय कौन बनाएगा?
मैं बता देती हूँ मैम.
हाँ जी, क्या नाम? सॉरी आपका बच्चा?
नमिता.
नमिता जी प्लीज अपना बताइए, प्रोसेस बताइए.
या सबसे पहले गैस ऑन किया लाइटर से.
गैस ऑन किया.
लाइट वगैरह तो ऑन थी पहले से. एंड देन पैन के अंदर पानी डाला, उसको बॉईल किया. उसके बाद उसके अंदर ये टी लीव्स डाले. देन मिल्क डाला. देन शुगर डाला, बॉईल किया एंड सीव किया, उसे कप में डाल दिया.
Okay, so Namita has given this process. Okay, now guys, tell me one thing very honestly. You are 17. Do you think all 17, when given this process of Namita, you will be giving me the same taste every time? All of you?
No.
Why?
No.
Why? It's you only who put the input, no?
Measurements are missing.
Huh?
Measurements are missing.
Ma'am, quantity.
Amazing. Beautiful. Now you guys have understood.
Ma'am, I have already mentioned in the chat. One must be measurement for 1 cup.
Right. So basically, how much water do I need? Do I need it 30 ml of water or 10 ml of water? How much milk? Which brand milk? It should be Mother Dairy or it should be Saffron, whatever. Which tea? It should be Red Label or Taj? You know, the gas, the lighter, the cup, you know, what size of cup. So at my place, you will find a cup size which is of this big. It's a big mug, okay? Whereas in some houses, the cups are small. That's what they call it, cup. So you should be telling that what cup size you're saying. Do you know in the Starbucks, they have small, medium, large size of, you know, containers, right? So
Yes.
it's very important. The same very way, sugar. Which sugar are you adding? You know, so rest of the utensils are fine. So this becomes very important. Now here is how much to boil at what temperature to boil. So are you boiling it for 2 minutes at the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees of Celsius? That's also very, very important. Because you will see when you buy Maggi. So Maggi, when you make Maggi noodle, anybody who makes a noodle as per the process, you all will get the same taste. That is what is called process. So I hope now you would have understood the importance of input, throughput, and output. And Yamini is mentioning time to boil. Yes, if you boil longer or shorter, it changes the taste. Absolutely. Okay. So I hope I made this one clear to all of you. So here, this organization actually focused very strongly on the input throughput process. And in this, they, the model of patient care was based on the engineering principles from the queuing theory, from the compartmental models of flow, from the applies operations management, from the concept to the patient flow within the acute care system. So it actually, the system included unscheduled ambulance care, urgent care, emergency department, and so on care. So guys, this is how this case was become very popular. So I hope this is clear with everybody. It is like whatever you said, it's like I culminated all in a very structured manner. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, super. So guys, let's go to the second case study. In this, many engineering firms are facing a market with a shrinking supply of talent, coupled with an aging workforce and the problem of having a sufficient inventory of capable engineers and project managers which are available and working on projects is of significant concern. So the respective case study, it identifies the insight and actionable decision recommendation that emerges from the role analytics played in a large engineering firm experiencing critical talent turnover. Okay, so I would request, I'm going to put you all in a breakout room again. I'm going to give you 15 minutes for this case study. Okay, I hope you all have received the case study in your email box.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to give you the same breakout, same group only.
Ma'am, I had not received.
I'm just putting
Parveen and Vashist. PAR, ma'am. It's PAR.
Can you just put me on the chat box? I'm going to immediately mail it to you.
I already done, ma'am, but maybe there can be a spelling mistake. PAR. I write PAR, Vashist. Parveen.
Ma'am, mine is Ymail, not Gmail. I have also not received.
Okay, 1 minute.
Received it. PARVEEN_Vashisht.
Yes. 2002 at the rate yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're in the list.
Right, I received. Now it is. Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Harika and Urvashi, about the recommendations. So what are the 3 recommendations on the case studies? Please share as per you.
Ma'am, basically in our group, we had there were 3 insights. And when we actually took the 3 insights, the first insight was whether we give them a hike and try to retain the employees, and there has to be a balance, because if we actually increment 5%, then we'll be actually able to hold 4% of the workforce more, and that will actually reduce the attrition. Additionally, the second insight which talked about like when you add value to the employees by giving them training, it will actually increase the retention by 10%. And the third insight was by using a workforce model where we'll try to automate something and then create have more time for the employees to take care of other responsibilities. For the first insight, ma'am, it is always good and it always looks good to increase the salary, but mostly salary increment, the effect of the salary increment is not long lasting. You increase the salary and again they'll actually be unsatisfied because of several reasons. So my recommendation when I actually go for the first insight is not to go by increasing the salary of the employees, because it may not actually solve the problem. The second insight where it actually says giving them training, which actually leads to a higher retention of the employees, I think that's a very good plan, because it not only increases the value in the terms of competency of the employee and increasing the overall efficiency of the organization, but also adds a lot of satisfaction and creates a positive culture within an organization. And it will have a permanent change in culture of the organization, and we'll be continuously adding more and more value. When in any organization, when an employee is hired, what is the most important thing that the employee looks from the organization? I think it is not only the salary, but the most important thing is what will be his growth within the organization, what he will actually learn from the organization. If any employee is paid whatever he needs, but there is no learning or there is no growth, I definitely think that one day he'll leave, even for a lesser salary for any other organization. He'll actually try to learn more things where he'll have more opportunities to gain, learn, and grow. So this is something which I will go with. The third insight, which talked about creating a workforce model and then creating automated interventions which will reduce the time of the employees for work and giving them more time to do other things. I think that is also very good, because innovation is something that always binds employees to any organization. You talk about a good company where a lot of innovative approaches are taken, people are attracted towards the organization. So when it actually comes to hire and retain employees, this innovation will definitely drive, and it will actually add a lot of value to the organization as well as the employees. So this is what we actually discussed as a whole in the group. If I missed anything, I would request people in my group to add.
No, Arvind, you have covered everything very nicely. So basically, the theory of motivation is it has come to our rescue, that theory X and Y. So I mean, the hygiene factors should be there, but a person to be retained in the organization needs other factors also. And those other factors are like, if the organization is training, so they'll feel that organization is investing in them and they look forward to our long-term retention. So that is what we had discussed.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Namita.
Thanks for that. Okay, so let's hear from the group 2, please. Group 2, please.
This is Arvind. I'm from Group 2. So I agree with Arvind Kumar. So definitely, skill enhancement that plays a very important role for an employee. If an employee learns and if he or she sees the career path and gets more opportunity to grow by just learning, then there are higher chances that employee would like to stick with the company. But as we know, no money, no honey. So so if you don't get a salary hike on a regular basis, then also employee would not feel motivated. So maybe we need to pick some sort of midway. Maybe we can cut down some budget at the training side, and we can plan to give at least a decent hike to the employees So we need to come up with more innovative ideas. So rather than conducting instructor-led sessions, maybe we can come up with a digital learning platform. So we can give accesses, we can give them skill coins that they can utilize to, get some trainings. And then whatever money we get from that cutover, we can use it for salary hike. So some sort of, that combination would work best here. That's what I think.
Ma'am, I would agree to a certain part of like giving trainings, but I mean that kind of training policies and the L&D development, etc., will depend upon the business and the company's values. Not every time training will help you. I mean, I can give you very relevant examples. I don't want to be a spoil sport, but yes, ma'am, at times it can happen. Like someone you have given a training, his market value will increase, and if you are not matching his salary, again he will be disheartened or demotivated, and again he may leave it. So training is again not a solution wherein like you have given a training without any salary hike, or you have given more responsibilities. So a person's value will increase in the market. I mean, people are very smart enough to understand their market value. They may go out for interviews, etc. So I agree to a certain extent. Yes, there has to be a fine balance between the trainings, the career aspirations, and the organization salary parity with the market. So it has to be all three all together, ma'am.
But the data here says that there is 10% more retention rate of the employees who have attended this leadership course.
So, ma'am, we have one more data is given that companies having more projects and they are feeling that they will fall short on talent. So employee will not go because there is enough opportunity available if he does not leave. The only thing is that salary increase 5%, 3%, 2% is too meager because inflation itself, the same when housing lease is having 10% increase every year and the company is giving 2%, 3%. So they have to, because enough data is not there that what the competitors are doing. So we have to compete with the market. Why he is leaving? Because somebody is giving him better salary. So this pay package itself has to be analyzed that are we giving less in comparison to our competitor, that they are, if employee is going, somebody is taking also. And he's taking despite giving higher salary, he's making some profit. So that part is to be analyzed and more data is required. But I think that money is very important because in initial, because these engineers are not the top level. They are the initial people where role enhancement will take time, but the money is visible clearly. So in this Maslow theory, hierarchy need this. When they're in lower positions, you cannot make them vice president and this thing. So that money part has to be taken care. And I hope when you send them to some leadership training, the employee starts believing that oh, I am being groomed for future responsibility. That hope is very important.
I agree on that bit. So you're managing Maslow with the theory X and theory Y. So considering the time aspect, let's understand. I'm sharing my screen. Until in the meantime, any other perspective if anyone has to share? Okay. So, it's for the recommendation one, what they share, it's like, it's very important to first do a correlation and a regression between the compensation and turnover. Okay. So this will help to know the career plan with an eye on increasing raise in the compensation or in a critical role. That was the first thing recommendation. In the second aspect, more of a leadership training, which you all highlighted pretty well, and there could be other management development programs which can be shared, which can be used for the career planning, succession planning, and we can pull out and identify the high potential engineers, and then we can create the trajectory for them. Okay, they can also, so this organization opted them for the project management training program with leadership. The recommendation 3, it requires an analytics capability, which is focusing on, you need to pull out the data, and here you need to customize your dashboard and the visualization graphics based on the real requirement. So what they did was, they firstly did a pilot study focusing on the future performance which could be improved, and the recruitment channel actually got strongly analyzed, focusing on the turnover and the high performance talent, and they also analyzed the mobility which can have potential gain with the cost reduction and the minimizing turnover. So these recommendation actually got used by the organization, and it worked pretty well, trust me. So I can sense that a lot of you actually came up into the same paraphrase, but I believe that this has made all of you clear that how we need to work on the recommendation, how we need to work on the analytics front. So are we good? I hope we both the cases were very much evident to further make you guys understand. Are we good?
Yes,
Okay.
excellent case
Yes.
studies.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we are coming to the close of the session. So it was really nice. I have sent, so like we will be meeting again in the next session. So we would really appreciate if you can just share your feedback for the today's session. Just click on the link. I'm also emailing you the, feedback link. It would be really, really nice to know how you felt about, how you're feeling about our session. Right?
You know already that we will give you excellent rating.
Oh, thank you so much. But it's always good to see because it goes in our Google, and the world
Yes,
can.
yes, black and white is always material.
Thank you so much. Pleasure. So thank you so much for your time, and see you next week then. Thank you. And do please fill up the feedback form. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.